Your time is 9:42. Well, after the pandemic hit, people started losing their jobs. Many couples decided to start a business together. Unfortunately, couples often find that although they are madly in love, working together is something completely different, and it can really take a toll on the relationship. So joining us right now is Steve Siebold. He knows this all too well. He is a certified financial educator and author of the book, How Money Works. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'm not going to lie. When I saw this interview pop up, I was like, oh, my husband and I, we can't even finish a project together without getting in an argument. Love him dearly. But how do you decide whether or not this is a good idea? Because sometimes financially, the investment is smarter going in together on it.
Yeah, definitely. I think you have to know your limits as a couple, and do you relate to one another when it comes to business and money and major decision making, as well as risk taking.
Yeah.
So that's where you start, I think.
Okay, so you have some tips for us today, but I want you to briefly talk about your story, because you've worked with your wife side by side for the last 30 years. What's your secret to that?
Well, I think we're a good couple in terms of the things I just mentioned. We seem to get along pretty well in those areas. We have the same tolerance for risk. We both have a very strong work ethic, and we trust each other implicitly. And I think those are the things that were the foundation of really working together.
Yeah. So you said set boundaries. What are some of those boundaries that people need to consider when going into business with their significant other?
Well, to start with, I think it's leave work at work and have your home life and your relationship to be completely separate. And that's easier said than done, but I think you have to sort of set the boundaries of where work stops and where your relationship begins.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's easy to maybe favor, especially if you start incorporating more employees into your business. I'm sure it's hard not to favor or treat that person different because you are going home and spending your evenings and weekends with them.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do. I mean, it's easier to write it in a book or talk about it on television than it is to actually do it in real life. But it is doable, and there are incredible advantages to doing it. But yes, you sort of have to treat each other as, as an employee, as just another employee when you're working. And then, of course, it changes when you come home. But it's, again, easier said than done, but it is doable.
All right. Well, we do have to wrap up here, but I do want to ask you, if people want to check out more of your tips, check out your book, where do they need to go?
For the book, they can go to howmoneyworks.com. If they want information on working together as a couple, we have a podcast called Success, Money, and Marriage.com, and they can check that out.
I may have to download that. I like it. All right. Hey, thank you so much for taking the time and chatting with us. We wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Lauren.
All right, let's send things over to Catherine Bodak. What about you? Could you and your husband work together, you think? If he worked here at the station?
I wouldn't like, this could sound awful, but it's nice to not have, you get a break from each other.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds mean, but, not to see each other all the time, it's even better than when you're back home together. But, yeah, we're going to see